So this is the start of part B or part 2 of the animate doll for class exercise number 3 with it. So I just finished first step, so I'm gonna click on the next step. And this is what's called the transform tool. Transform tool is you can modify, scale it, move its focal point where it's pivoted with this, and all these are very important the way you look at it. So it's already highlighting for you with it, so you click on the circle that's on that. If you can click on it for me with it, right? And if you can go down and select a head, click on the head. I always like to select on the layer. If you notice, if I select on the head and I click on the trunk, it moves it on there for me. I don't like to select the individual graphics because I don't want to select the hair or the flower. So if I want to do the head, I do the head. So I click on the head with it, and you see this pivoting point right here, this little white center point right here. So this point right here is what's called the transform point, and I like for you to drag that point down below her lip, right down lower with it, like that. I need for you to come over and click on the trunk layer, and we're going to take this little center point with it, with the transform point with it, and move that down to the pivot of it down to the bottom middle, like I have, like I'm showing you right now. So 2 on the head, it's underneath her lip, and the bottom is like the bottom middle bottom for this as well. So both of these are moving to it. That will complete for step number 2 with it. Step number 3, I need for you to come in right now with it, and we're going to set up what's called the parent with it. And if you notice, it has a circle right here. You click on it, and it allows you, if you take the head of this icon right here, this little square box, and just drag this to the bottom, like in what I'm doing right here in my video. Can you see that? And when I let go, so it has this line from the trunk to the head, how it's linked. That's how you connect the head and the trunk, by dragging both of them together with it. So when this happens, when I'm going to get into a term what's called anime, or what's called tweening. So right now, this is, you convert to a symbol, you move the pivoting point down to the bottom where you want to pivot and rock this section with it as well. So that's all we did right now with it, right? And I want to click on the 4th frame. In the 4th frame, when you come in with this right now, if you look at, I need for you to open up, if you go to Windows up here, Windows, and you come down and you find what's called Transform tool. The Transform tool, Transform right here, okay? This one right here, Transform. You click on it, it opens up this Transform tool. Now I'm going to move this over here so you can see what's going on with it. I like to click on the head layer, click on the head layer with it. We're going to tilt her head to rotate about 15 degrees. So in here with it, you see where it says rotate and there's 0.0? Click on it, and if you can put a positive 15, just type 15, hit enter. Okay? So it kind of tilts her head. Now, just want to let you know, this right here is frame 1, and it has it's an empty frame right now. Her head, excuse me. Her head, my alarm going off here. So the head is turned to 15 degrees. You can see how it's turned to it. And I like for you to click on the trunk right now. Click on the trunk, and it selects the trunk. I like for you to click on the 0, 0 on the trunk, and let's give her in the trunk, give her a -5. Okay, so her head is a positive 15, which is this way, and then her torso is -5. Now, this isn't. If those of you that we call in math with an x coordinate, if I drew a line straight down her nose and down her tip toe, and a line from left to right is the y-axis with it. You notice if I tip this way with it, it is a positive 15, her head. If I tilt the pivoting point to the left, which is a -5, okay? So just want to let you know with that as well. And then I want you to come over and look at the timeline and find the 50, click on it one time, click on it, and I want you to hold down the shift means that you're going to select the 50 on the head layer, and you want to click on the trunk with it. So you have selected both of them right now with it, so they're on line, frame 50. All right, the trunk and the head layer both are selected with it. I want you to, if you come over here, do you see this icon? It says the A and it has a little circle in there on top of it. I'm hovering over. It says auto keyframe. You see that? So I want to click on it, and you notice that it's going to be from here, from frame 1 to frame 50. Each one of these are going to be a frame. So you basically, if I took this right here, if I took the what's called the needle or the timeline, and all that's gonna appear like that, right? Every one of them is gonna look like that with it, right? So here's what we need to do is that the other part is we're gonna come over to holding down the 50 with it. We're gonna add in a keyframe. Make sure you got a keyframe on that one. Does it look like this? It looks like this icon right here. I want to make sure you have what I have right here with it. Okay. Now, the third steps here is I want you to select the frame 25, hold down frame 25 with a shift and select both of them, right? And you're going to also add in the auto keyframe right here. Click on that with it, right? So with that now, so all of that we just had tilt from 0 to 25, and we just broke half of it in that frame, meaning 0 to 25. 0 20, half of 0 to 50 is 25, right? And we're going to actually make this a little different frame set with it. So we're going to select the head with it, right? And we're going to come up here to the angle for the head for this, and just click in front of that 1 I have over here and put a negative on there. So it's going to look like a -14.9997. So if you round off that, that's going to be -15. All right. So precision is very accurate in this thing as well, right? So I want you to put a -15 in the rotation of the head. So it's going to, so it's different with it. And then we're going to actually come down and we're going to transform it, right? And then we're going to rotate, select the trunk, come down, select the trunk. And I want you to take away that negative number, so that looks like this. Okay? So the negative is removed, and for step number 3, for the trunk it is a +5. For the head, it's going to be a -15, right? So if I toggle, watch. If I took this over to frame number 24, 0 to 20, all of this right now, okay? So it's 0 right now. Now, I want to take you to the next one right here. So that's step 1, 2, 3, 4. We're completing step number 4 with it, right? Just make sure we're doing the right thing. So we're going to do from frame 0 to 25, and then we're going to select the head of this thing. Make sure you select the head like you had this selection right in here with it, right? And you're going to come in. You're going to do, lost my mouse here. So you're going to take, you see how her head kind of switches with it between, if I scrub the timeline, you see this? Okay. So the timeline shows you, well, we have to make it a little smoother. She looks like Frankenstein right now, right? With the way how her head is snapping back and forth with it, right? We'll get there in a second, all right? So that's steps number 4 with it. I want to click on next. Now, inside of the, I want you to click anywhere in this head section from frame 1 to frame 24, for example. I'm going to select this frame 11 or 12 here. Right mouse click on it, and I want you to select Classic Tween. You can do this icon, do it this way, right mouse click on a frame, or you can actually select, there's a keyframe that you could click on the Classic Tween. Is you see this double icon over here? So I'm gonna click on one of them so you can see it enabled. It's this one right here with the arrow, like two squares on top of each other, and it has a right arrow. All right, if I hover over it, it should say create classic tween with it. All right. So this way, I always like to do it this way so I can actually read what I'm doing with it. So create, I right mouse click on a frame and create classic tween and click with that. And it should give you a solid line. It looks like this. Okay. I want you to click on anywhere in the middle, each one of them. This right mouse click, repeat exactly what we just did, create classic tween. Now if you have a dash broken line with it, you did something wrong. So it needs to be solid like this. What I just showed you. Okay, so that's all we did was we created a tween, meaning a tween needs to have a keyframe. So the keyframe actually allows it to change with it. All right, a tween is actually two sprites or two symbols that are transitioned in from one symbol shape to another symbol shape with it. That's what that is with it. All right, click on next. Now, so we need to make this a little smoother in our connection with it as well, right? So let me click on the first one of this frame in the head section. I'm going to just pick frame 14 or 13 or 14 with it. I want you to come over and find the property panel right here, right? Here's the property, and I want you to find the coming down the frame, and you see where the section where it says classic ease, click on it. It opens up this. I want you to select the ease in and out, and then double click on cube. It turns it off, and you need to do this on every tween that you just did. So I just did that in frame 13, frame 14 on the head section. I want to do another one right here. This is on frame 38 right here. I'm going to again do the same thing with it. I'm going to do frame classic ease in and out, ease in and out, cube, double click on it, and it makes it a little smoother with it. Now I'm going down to the trunk, click on it, and then I'm going to go to frame. I'm going to do the classic ease with it. The effects is under classic ease, in and out, double click on the cube with it. So the next one is still in the trunk, but the second tween with it. Frame, classic ease, classic in and out, ease in and out, and cube. Okay, so that's all that's with it as well. So all that is on this step right here. All right. Now we could actually take this right now. All right. One more thing, we're not done yet with it. So we have this white background right now, right? Let me just move this out of the way here. And I'm going to click on the white, anywhere in the white right here. We call this the stage, canvas, however you want to call it. You can click on the property size of it, and you can see where you can change the stage. So I'm going to go in and instead of the white, I'm going to pick a color that I could live with, something like a light teal purple with it, or something light like this. Anything besides white, okay? So that's what I want you to do with it. So pick a color that you can live with it. Make sure you save this into your cloud, Dallas, you're with it as well in your assignment folder. So do File, Save As, and find your OneDrive. Make sure you find your OneDrive, find your folder. I have so many classes, so I have to put it in a fall 2022. Your class is IMED1301 or whatever semester and year you're in. Find the folder. If you haven't create a folder called Class EX-Animate with it. So I have many versions of this already with it, so I'm gonna call it version 4. But you're welcome to do it doll_animate_1. So this is your first one. So this is your basic file with it, and the next step is how do you save this or export this thing with it as well. So let me walk you through with that with it. So again, make sure this is once you save it. If you look up for an upper left, mine says doll_animate. IMED1301-4.FLA, which is the source file, right? So if I want to play this, you see this little icon over up here where it says test movie on the upper right hand corner. I click on it and it creates what's called the SWF. All right, so it's the Swift file that creates it. This is a nice vector graphics that you're doing. So she's toggling her head between 5 and plus degrees and negative 5 degrees with it, and her torso is also negative 15 and positive 15 with it as well. And let's close out of that with it. So save it. This is the source file, the file that you publish. Is that you can also do this as well. So I want you to, if you do file, and if you can export for me, look, export image legacy, export movies, export all of these. When you put this onto the web, it just helps you a little format a little bit better with it. I want you to export this as an animated GIF with it. All right. So it, for your portfolio piece with it as well. So give it a second. It's going to run it. And this is the piece I want you to actually put this onto your portfolio for your class project with it as well. Right? So it exports it as your GIF with it. You get to click on save, and it's going to ask you where do you want to save this thing. I'm going to put it in the same folder, under my OneDrive, Dallas College, my class, and my subdirectory with it as well. Okay, so this will conclude the first the 2-part video of how to create an animated doll. I'm going to stop the video right here.